Hello, Jim Steamcline here. Hey, I'm going to continue on the quizzes and stuff like that. Just got a few more items left. One of which is how do I put images into my into my quizzes that convey information, right? And so, for example, if I came over and I had a slide presentation. So here I've got a slide presentation, and I've got basically this slide that has, this is digital logic stuff. So it's like, what gate is this, right? And then what, based on that gate, what's a truth table? And here's like some information going into this gate. So in A and B, and if the inputs were like this, as it clicked along, what would be the output, right? So technical thing, but like, think of this as, hey, I want to create a really cool slide that like has a lot of information, diagrams, pointing things, and then be able to ask questions about that slide. And specifically, this is a good thing to do if you present slides. You could have a whole quiz on your presentation and use the slide in there as part of the question. All right. So, for example, how do we do this? Right. Well, Google lets you. You can basically take this slide, download this slide. Right. So I can go File. Download, let's see, image of current slide, right? So download image of current slide. So I can take this current slide, download it as a JPEG or PNG. I kind of usually go with PNG, but just because I don't know why. But anyway, so I go take this image. I can download it. It's going to ask me where to download it. I'm going to stick it into downloads for today. And it basically gives me the name of the presentation. So you still might want to rename this, rename this Logic Gate Labs, number one, right? For the image, whatever, however you want to call this, right? So now I'm saving that. Now I can go back to Canvas and I can come into my Canvas class, and I can create I can come into my digital logic. I can create a quiz, right? I can give it a quiz, Canvas, tips, images, right? Okay. So, and we'll make that. So now I got a Canvas tips images quiz. I can bring this, open up. I can edit it. I can go bring that image in, right? I can type some text of something, introduction, and then I can bring this image in. So I come over here to images, and I can click on image, and I'm going to upload an image, right? And it's going to ask me where to get that, and I'm going to go to my downloads directory, and I'm going to find that guy, right? Bam. Well, I just brought this in. Now, here's the thing. You're bringing this image into your class so you can actually use it. You're sticking it into this quiz, but you're actually still bringing it into your class. And so you have to tell some things about this, right? And one of those things is what are the rights to this image? Now, I actually on my classes when I create them, there's an option to check to say that you require licensing, and that's just so that I don't pull stuff out that's not licensed. And I think about licensing, and I don't take people's intellectual property that I shouldn't be taking, right? So I created this slide. That's my slide. But anyway, you can come in here and you can say what permission. You're like, I hold the copyright, or I got permission to use this. Or a lot of times, if you're pulling this from someone else's site who's also an educator or also in the education environment, and you're using it as part of your class, a lot of times you are safe to say this is an exception for educational purposes. You're not making money on this. You're using it for education. You're pulling just a little piece, right? But if it's something you created, then you might as well just click it on and say that it's Creative Commons, and you're just, anybody can use this image. I'm happy for you to use it, right? So do that. But if it is copyrighted, then put the copyright holder here, right? And stick him in there. All right, and then you can actually do some attributes if you want to describe what this image is in case it doesn't load. This is what you can do there, and everything else is default. And you click submit, and bam, your image shows up in your quiz, right? So now I've got this image here in this quiz, and I can go ask questions about it, right? So I can come in here and I can create a new question, or I can go to a quiz bank and pull questions out of a quiz bank. But I could have a question, and it could be an essay question, or it could be a multiple choice question. What gate is this, right? And then I would have multiple choice, you know, and or whatever, right? And now I have got the question, and I've got my quiz overview, and I can go save this. A lot of times, I will, if it depends on the question, depends on the quiz, I'll let people take it multiple times, right? But in any case, we'll save it. We'll talk about that in a second. And now I have a quiz, right, with an image in it that can convey a whole bunch of information, and now I can ask questions about that. And if you set this up to be one question at a time, when you're in the question, you can set it to be. You come down here, you can say. Where does it say? Oh, show one question at a time. I couldn't see it, right? Show one question at a time. And that way it'll just show the one question with your introduction section, one question. And then next time they do it, shows the introduction section and the next question, so that it really keeps them focused. They're not scrolling up and down. And so whenever I'm doing this kind of quiz where I want them to be looking at this section of information in the introduction, and then have a question, multiple questions, be asking about that, I do one question at a time. All right. Okay. So that was a quick tip on that. So stay tuned. I got a few more.